What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to talk about the practice squad and the guys that the Colts have put on the practice squad. A lot of guys coming back. So kind of a lot of what we expected. Some good news here. Some guys that I thought might get picked up by other teams or might go and sign with other teams. The veterans might go sign with other teams. Ended up not being the case. We got a decent amount of these guys back. I'm happy we got some of these guys back. And the names that we're looking at here are linebacker Austin Ajak. Didn't expect that. Didn't pay much attention to him throughout the preseason. But he's somebody that apparently I'd seen other people say that he deserves a spot on the practice squad. I'm gonna have to go back and really look. But Austin Ajak, somebody that coming back. Liam Anderson, linebacker, also coming back on the practice squad, kind of as expected. Gennard Avery expected to end up on the practice squad. He's coming back. Great news, Jason Bean. Still a Colt, okay? Ends up on the Colts practice squad. That is extremely good news. Exactly what I wanted to hear. One of the names I was hoping to see on this list was going to be Jason Bean. I thought he'd make the 53. I think he probably should be on the 53, but he's not on the 53. And with that, Jason Bean on the practice squad, and we'll see what happens, right? There's obviously going to be continuous competition throughout the season, and we'll see what ends up happening at that position at the third quarterback spot. But then going forward here, obviously the international player program, Marcel Dabo ends up back on the practice squad after being waived. And then another great name to end up here, Evan Hull. Didn't make the roster, and there are different options the Colts can go for a fourth running back if they want to, and I think there's a possibility for that. We'll talk about that here in just a couple minutes. But Evan Hull, for the time being, is going to be on the practice squad. Will he get elevated at some point? Who knows, right? It sounded like Chris Ballard, part of the strategy for Chris Ballard was that he wanted to keep as many offensive and defensive linemen on the active roster, the initial 53, so that teams weren't immediately going and claiming these guys, right off rip, right? We lost two guys, Eric Johnson, Jonah Lalu, two guys that the Colts lost from the defensive line. Pardon the interruption. I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you stopping by the channel. And I also want to say that when I look at the analytics, 50% of the people that come by and watch this channel are not subscribed. So as Peyton's telling you to do here, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn those notifications on so you get notified when any videos come out. Now, if you need any further proof of why you need to subscribe, when you look at the numbers, 62.4% of the views on this channel over the last month have come from people that are not subscribed to the channel. So again, if you're one of those people, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you so much, and let's get back into the video. And the only thing we lost out on from the offensive line was Jake Witt. Jake Witt decided to retire. Going into his second season in the NFL, was going to be on the practice squad for somebody. I heard that, or I saw that he had multiple practice squad offers, but he decides, hey, let's not keep wasting our time here on the practice squad, and he's going to move on with life. But beyond that, again, we have Evan Hull on the practice squad. Moving forward, we have cornerback Chris Lamons ending up on the practice squad. Was on the team last year because of injuries. Was on the active roster for most, if not all, season last year. Obviously has some special teams use that we'll be able to get out of him. Hopefully he just stays at this depth piece, right? Currently the Colts have 5 cornerbacks on the active roster. DJ Baker gets released because the Colts pick up Samuel Womack coming from the 49ers, played in a system similar to what they've been running out there in San Francisco. So the familiarities there, and again, bringing in 5. So we have 5 corners on the active roster. Will we get anybody else? That's a great question. Moving forward, just going over the other cornerbacks that we have. We have 3 of them total. Chris Lamons, but also Jalen Simpson, the rookie, right? People earlier in the day were killing Chris Ballard because Chris Ballard was letting go of 3 of his draft picks from this season, right? Jonah Lalu ends up on somebody else's roster right away. Jalen Simpson comes back to our practice squad. So still a developmental project, and we knew that coming in, right? Late round pick, believe he was a sixth round pick, might have been a fifth, something like that. One of those late round picks. We knew he was going to be a developmental project, but he is back on the practice squad. Namir Speed also finding his way to the practice squad. And I kind of figured that he would end up either on the active roster as a sixth cornerback, or he would end up on the practice squad. He is back on the practice squad now. Of the cornerbacks that we named, none of them are named Micah Abraham. And that's too bad. But again, we'll talk about that here in a couple minutes. Then the last names here, a couple of wide receivers. DJ Montgomery, as expected, back on our practice squad. Going to be a depth piece, right? As the seventh wide receiver, got to be happy with that. And yes, thank goodness. Somebody I was so high on coming out of college, and I wish we had drafted him the year he came out. But the Vikings drafted him. Then we get him this preseason, and he was really good in the preseason, just like Jason Bean. And Laquon Treadwell finds his way onto the Colts practice squad. Could not be more happy. As soon as I saw Jason Bean, Evan Hull, Laquon Treadwell, I was very happy. Now, again, it's disappointing not having Zavier Scott. It's disappointing not having Micah Abraham, and those are things that hopefully we'll be able to get to. Now, when you think about the practice squad, that was a list of 11 names. Okay, you're allowed to have 16 players on a practice squad, and of those 16 players, 10 have to be rookies or second-year players, while the other 6 spots have no such limitations. So you can have some veterans, which is something that they came to the conclusion of during COVID. They changed this. They never changed it back. I think the entire league was like, hey, this kind of works out better for all of us. Some of these veterans can prolong their career. You can have other developmental guys that you don't have to release, right? The Colts sitting here with all these guys, right? If they only had 10 guys, it would just out of that group of 11, it'd probably be Laquon Treadwell that would bite the dust. But you're looking at a hard decision there, a decision you don't want to make. And the Colts don't have to make that decision because they're allowed to have 16 players. So now this is what I wanted to show you guys. And what this is from earlier in the day when the Colts released their practice squad players. I went through, took a screenshot, came back to Twitter, said massive W for Colts Nation. No offensive linemen. And this is only 11 players. Will the Colts send linemen down to add a running back or quarterback, right? I mentioned that point earlier. Okay, now what I want to show you here is the very next thought that I had after I sent that tweet. I sat here and I was thinking about it, and I was like, as you can see, the bad to this, no Micah Abraham or Zavier Scott. Will they be the players that we add at those positions? So that's what I'm curious about going forward. Is it going to be Micah Abraham and Zavier Scott? Are they going to come back to be on either the practice squad or the active roster, right? If we want to go with a fourth running back, do we bring Evan Hull up, put Zavier Scott on the practice squad? Or just bring Zavier Scott back to the practice squad or whatever. And then Micah Abraham, maybe he can be the sixth cornerback. I think you can lose an offensive lineman to the practice squad. And Chris Ballard, again, I think Chris Ballard just wanted other teams to not be able to snag his offensive lineman as soon as he ends up, waiving them, and then they can be claimed on waivers. He's letting teams make their moves. I think the roster that we have right now won't be the week one roster. Bottom of the roster, I think there will be some movement, and hopefully we see Micah Abraham and Zavier Scott come back. There's still 5 spaces that need to be filled on the Colts practice squad. And sitting here right now, I don't know exactly how many years some of these guys have been in, right? Marcel Dabo, I don't know what all the rules are for the international player program. Does he count as a player on the roster now? I think it's his 3rd year. Does he count as a roster spot? How does that work? Chris Lamons, Amir Speed. I'm pretty sure Liam Anderson's been in the league for more than 2 years. Don't know anything about Austin Ajay. So there are just some things I don't know about these guys. But I do know that the Colts have 5 spots available on the practice squad. And what's going to happen? What would you like to happen? Who do you want to see us go get for the practice squad? You let me know down in the comment section. Would you put anybody on the active roster on the practice squad to elevate some other guys? Again, you let me know how you would work things if you were Chris Ballard. You let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Of course, make sure you subscribe subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we have any videos coming out. Of course, appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.